shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Welcome to the Good All. Today on our show, I'm joined by Jeremy Bates, who recently held the Chief Information Officer role at Linfox Armaguard. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Adam.
Now, Jeremy, let's go straight into your recent role. Linfox Armaguard provides secure currency management solutions to Australian businesses and have done so since 1938. Don't tell me you have been there since then.
No, not since 1938.
How long have you been there? How long were you there for?
I was there for 14 years, Adam.
Yep. Well, that's
Finished up mid-May.
Yeah, right. And that's a pretty good stint at any company. You know, you don't see that very much these days. You obviously enjoyed your time.
I had a fabulous time there. It was great.
Yeah, fantastic. So where did it all start for you, and what are you up to now, Jeremy?
So it started with regards to Armaguard or in my career?
In your career.
Yeah, look, I started in about 1995, leaving school early and had to sort of get back to the books and get educated, and then started on my path in technology, which was quite a while ago.
Yep.
After a few service-orientated roles within IT, I then got into the path of management, and then I took a perfect role at Armaguard in 2005, starting as the IT manager.
Right.
After a progressive review of the executive team, I was then put into the role of Chief Information Officer from 2007 till just recently in May. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, as they say.
And did you ever want to get into IT? Was that always your career ambition?
Early on, I really didn't know. Like, you know, most young people, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and then had a keen interest in technology, and it all sort of started back then.
Yeah, wow. And so I want to touch base on business transformation, because obviously there's a lot of organisations going through that, whether that's digital or more business oriented. Your take on business transformation and, the ecosystems within a modern day organisation. Well, what's your take on that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Adam. I mean, I think digital transformation, business transformation, technology ecosystems, people use them in an interchangeable way, but they are quite separate. From a business transformation perspective, you obviously need to start with a strategy. The business needs a strategy and how you're actually going to transform as a business. Normally, business transformation starts with really getting into understanding your people, what the problems are faced with, not only the systems, whether they're customer induced, internally induced, or technology driven. Obviously, you can't have technology for technology's sake, but business transformation is now quite a hot topic. And I think digital transformation in all its elements, most people truly don't know what they want. And that's not being negative to any of the businesses that I've worked in or interacted with. It's most times they're starting from the product and working back, as opposed to starting with the internal customer, being the people that use the service, or the customer side of things that are going to utilize that product. Business transformation these days is it really is about that massive element of change and ensuring that things that didn't work before, you've actually changed and transformed truly. And I think a lot of that analysis is some of the big stuff that's missing in business transformation. From an ecosystem, from a technology perspective, digital ecosystems, it has to be distributed, it has to be adaptive, and it has to be scalable and sustainable. As I said before, you can't just implement technology initiatives just for the sake of it because someone said it's a great idea. Technology is at the heart of everything that anyone in this world these days does. Everyone's a technologist. Everyone has an iPhone, therefore everyone's a technology expert, so to speak. And everything that goes along with that is really around, can I maximize the value back to our shareholder, our business, but also making that experience easy for the customer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, totally agree there. And so, look, we're moving into more of a cashless society with the likes of cryptocurrency now playing out. How do you think a company like Linfox Armaguard will have to transform, given we've just been talking about transformation and some of the pressures or the new technology we're seeing with Facebook now launching its own new currency? So what do you think the effect's going to be there?
Yeah, I think now removed from Linfox Armaguard, but having intimate knowledge, I mean, they're very well versed in tackling. Yeah, tackling is probably the right word, in the decline of cash used as a transactional instrument. But on the same hand, currency in circulation has increased year on year since Federation. A lot of the factors are due to our increase in population, how many note cycles are printed every year, but also how people are using that cash. I think probably digital currency as a holistic approach that includes, cryptocurrency, digital wallets, different payment options, et cetera, et cetera. As we know, the tap and go, revolution, I suppose, is here and has been for quite a while, but still, people are still using cash. And I think into the future, Linfox Armaguard will still provide those essential services to, not only the community of Australia, but propping up the economy of Australia also. They're well versed for the future.
Yeah, that's great. And so given your long tenure at Linfox Armaguard, and so what have you seen over the journey just in regards to, the way people choose to work and how they work these days?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look, I've been very, very fortunate to be in a very positive environment in Linfox Armaguard, and been many iterations of strategies throughout the business, how technology is shaping how the customers use the service, which is very important, obviously. But then also coupled with that is how the internal customer uses those services that are either built or bought. And again, I go back to the distributed nature of technology. It needs to be able to be shared. It needs to be accessed from anywhere, and it needs to be on time all the time. So I've seen, massive curves in 14 years, as you could expect. The use of technology in 2005 compared to the use of technology in 2019. Everyone having such a connected world, it has to work, and it has to work all the time. So the demand from the consumer, whether that be internal or external, it has heightened, I think, 100% since 2005.
Absolutely. And do you see a different set of skills for the future, our future IT leaders to add to their toolbox?
I actually think it's going back to the soft skills of managing people, to be honest. There is a lot of super smart people out, not only in the Linfox Armaguard world, but also outside of that, and how people are engaging and utilising technology. Everyone really is I won't say a digital expert, but they're very, very comfortable in using electronic tools to do their job, but mainly also outside of their job is how they actually interact with other people and how they use that technology in a very connected environment. The new IT leader, I suppose, if the young guy or the young girl that's at university or making their way through another path, they really have to focus on those soft skills. A lot of people are so worried about robotics, automation, AI, etc. It's going to replace the workforce. It's actually, I think, it's scare tactics by whomever that they're either trying to sell those automation or AI tools, but it's actually people that are going to program that. It's people that are actually going to direct the resources to utilize that. And I really, really believe that, the person will be at the forefront of how these people are going to have to lead into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So look, we have a segment, Jeremy, called the Goodsies Fast Four, where I ask 4 questions in 30 seconds. You ready to go?
Oh, I think I am.
All right, let's get cracking. So the first question is, what's your go-to order at your favorite restaurant?
Oh, wow. I think I'd have to say duck pancakes.
And what do you wish you had known when you had started out in this role?
Oh, being very new to the C-suite, I think the art of self-awareness.
Okay, and what's one thing you failed at?
Historically, probably haven't focused on professional development enough. I don't know if you call it a failure, but...
Yep. And what are you curious about right now?
All things learning right at the moment.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah, learn.
Learning, brilliant.
Yep.
Okay, Jeremy. Absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for today's episode of The Goods Oil. Jeremy, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Adam. It's been great.
Yeah, and thanks to all our listeners out there. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast channel and join us again next week when we bring you another CIO to the Goods Oil podcast and find out how they are making a difference to the world we live in today. See you then.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.